you guys are going to realize this today is that we've pretty much been doing this all year long. You guys are going to actually find this to be a little bit easier than you may think. So take the skills that we've already learned and let's interpret them in our lesson today. The first skill or standard that we're going to learn today is cite specific textual evidence to support analysis of primary and secondary sources, connecting insights gained from specific details to an understanding of the text as a whole. All you're doing there is you're finding specific evidence within a body of text to support an understanding of that text. So here's how we're going to do our first document. We're going to use SOAPs. Raise your hand if this looks familiar. You've done SOAPs. Okay, so quite a few more people know how to do it. SOAP stands for subject, occasion, audience, purpose, and speaker. So let's use this document and do this one together just so we understand how to do it. First of all, what do you see in this document? Point out some of the symbolism.
Quiet.
Quiet. What else? A hand where?
Over the mouth.
Over the mouth, which means they're telling you to
Be quiet.
or shut up. What else do you see?
America.
Criticism of society is not free speech. In other words, you can have free speech as long as you're not criticizing society.
It said that segregation in white and colored people in public schools has a determined effect upon the colored children.
And also violates the 14th Amendment.
Any language in Plessy versus Ferguson contrary to this finding is rejected?
Exactly. So specifically in the document it says any language that is in Plessy versus Ferguson, it's rejected. We're not using that anymore. Separate is not equal. So we know for a fact that it overturns Plessy versus Ferguson. Who's the speaker? Raise your hand if you know that one. The speaker in this document is, let me hear from somebody new. The prompt so you know what to write. Here's your prompt. Before I put it up, you need to write in complete sentences, and I would like for you to include something specific from the text that supports whatever you're about to write down. Describe the ruling in this case and cite specific evidence from the document that supports your findings. So for whatever you write down, find somewhere in that document that supports it.
We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. Equality?
I guess Malcolm refers to the ones that
I don't know what that.
it's the marvelous new militancy.
We did one sentence.
Are they saying that the military just came into
Malcolm X is basically saying it doesn't really
This is number one on God's list for divine destruction today. I repeat, this American House of Bonds.
Noah, like he's referring it to the Bible, saying that Noah never, and Moses and God's list for divine destruction today.
Yeah, he's saying that God would want us to separate ourselves, that even Noah and Moses teach about separation. They don't teach integration, so why would we?
He believed that the separation and integration, which is like the Bible, he believed in religion thoughts. He saw it as religion.
Well, someone had
In different ways, though. Anything else that you guys found in common? Let's talk about the differences. Somebody tell me a difference between Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Amber.
Martin Luther King Jr. wants integration, and Malcolm X wants separation.
The smart board is way off. Okay, and just so that we all understand, Amber, will you tell us the difference between integration and segregation? ISN, what we found. You guys can use your Venn diagram as a writing map for you. So for Martin Luther King Jr., or Malcolm X. Evaluate the points of view of these two civil rights leaders. What are their common goals and how are they different? Remember, try to cite specific evidence to support your reasoning. Great, good word, right, since we've learned that one recently, and evaluate multiple sources of information presented in diverse formats and media. What this means is we're going to compare 2 or more documents that are in different forms. If you turn to documents 4 and 5 in your packet, we have one which is an address to the nation by President Eisenhower on the situation in Little Rock, and the second one is a photograph. Those are 2 different forms of media. I don't want to lead you into your discussion because I feel like I so often do that, but here's what I want you guys to decide together. How did Eisenhower's address to the nation, his intervention in Little Rock, cause the events of that photo to take place?
Parents of white children were furious.
Under the Little Rock 9, analyze the relationship between Eisenhower's address to the nation and the effect it had on the students involved in the Little Rock 9. Make sure to point out specific evidence either in the text or in the picture to support your reasoning. In a positive way. Regardless of everything negative taking place in that picture, the most positive light that we can see is she is on her way into the school, right?
Yes.
So that's a positive. And if Eisenhower had not intervened, then that wouldn't have ever happened.